And we're back. Finally back and feeling better. Well, 90% there. Good enough to trade, that's for sure, folks. Good enough to trade. I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. Hopefully you've traded well while I've been away. Made a bit of money. This market is remaining in breakout, okay? And let's go over all the higher time frames right now. Make sure you're all prepared. So the last week or two, from last Monday, you'll see we built this consolidation while I was away on holiday. From top Bollinger Band to 5-day to 20-day towards lower Bollinger Band, reclaim, and then breakout. We go in breakout from Monday, Tuesday last week. Upside is the move. Okay, so we already know we're in a breakout market. Buyers are in control, which means any short will be a counter trend. Now, expected move on the breakout, if we're going to complete this whole move, for a measured move on this breakout, we're looking for a move all the way to 23,100. Does it get there? I do not know, but that is potential based on the size of the pullback leg. All right, so that's one thing I'm looking at. Second thing to note is we are now in breakout above all-time highs on all the indexes other than the ES. All right, SPY is in a breakout. QQQ is in a breakout. These are the adjusted contracts, remember. Otherwise, we're well and truly clear. We've never traded at these prices before, but we do the adjusted contract for the rollover, and we've just taken all-time high out overnight in Globex. All right, so that's the next thing to consider. Now, we're not there yet in ES. It's one thing to note. You can note these levels. So on ES, I'll be looking for a break of 6,292 pretty much. Once we do that, then we're in sync and we're in breakout across all indexes. So that's the other thing to consider right now. All right, we're in breakout. Bulls are in control. They're in. Oh, am I on the wrong? What's gone on there? I'm on the right chart, but it's changed its settings. That's no good. What has gone on here? Sorry, folks. Let me just check the main one. It looks like we've got technicals to start the day. That is bizarre, showing the wrong monitor. All right, bear with me. This is not ideal. How does it manage to do that on a reset? It is beyond me. All right, now it's realized. So if I go back, all right, it's just OBS being stupid. All right, let's try it here as well. If I go higher time frame, that should now work. Nice one, OBS. All that work for no reason. Mainstream. Let's get this back to here. There we go. OBS is woken up. Sorry about that, folks. All right, we have time. We have time. All right, daily chart down here. Let's make sure this is working. There we go. Gotta love OBS. All right, so like I was saying, we're in breakout. There's your consolidation. The last 2 weeks, we broke out last Monday, Tuesday. All right, here's your measured move. We'll pass the 161. Measured move will take you to 23,113. All right, and we're in breakout above all-time highs on the adjusted contract. And like I said, we're in this breakout on QQQ. All right, so cash is in a breakout comfortably above all-time highs. The SPY, cash is in a breakout above all-time highs. The only one which is not caught up yet is an adjusted contract on the ES. So ES, we're looking to see how it acts at all these levels right here. 290s. Let's just make sure we get that right. 288. I'm going to just set an alert there so that I know when we get there. All right, so market's in breakout. Moving to the higher time frames, hopefully, if ES will. Here we go. All right, moving to the higher time frames, just focus on this chart down here, this hourly. You can see that we're just slowly grinding up in this hourly channel. All right, just higher highs and higher lows constantly. There's a little stop hunt there, but we never break down. A little stop hunt here, never break down, hold the channel. And same thing, rinse and repeat. So what's the What's the theme that we've had the last week? Well, dips are holding. All right, we can just see higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. So we're looking for an hourly pullback, higher low to go higher. And if we don't get that before a squeeze out, then it's potential we go into a new breakout. And at the trade, if we miss that, all right, if we go straight up at the open, because I'm not really looking to buy the open here. If we go straight up at the open, I'll be looking for a failure to come down and retest some of these levels, all right? And then I'll be looking for a bid back up. Now, if we fail these levels down here, if we get down here, this might be a tomorrow, Wednesday play, and we start to put in a lower high, then and only then will I be considering a shift in momentum for a deeper drive short to come and clean out all of these stops, right? Maybe down to 22,200. But until that point, any short will be a scalp counter trend short, because as we've said, higher lows on the hourly with higher highs, and you have to respect that. Moving into this 30-minute chart, this red line here, this is just your old all-time high on the adjusted contract, which we're currently basing off. All right, so if we think about Friday we had all these bulls chasing highs, chasing highs, chasing highs, and we get the collapse. We wash them all out. We protect this area right here. Would have liked it really to drift into that before finding a bid. Inverse head and shoulder, bid, and Asia's gapped up and London's gapped up. All right, so we're gapping up versus Friday's close. So we're in gap and go territory right now until it proves otherwise. Until there is a clear shift in momentum, a clear breakdown under here for this move, then I'm going to assume all dips are bought up. It doesn't mean I'm just going to buy them, but anything down into here, I want to see if bids come in. If we start to fail under there, I'll consider a rotational trade, maybe POC, old value low, maybe down here if we get heavy. But this would be scalp. This would be a short, taking profit quickly, letting a runner to see if it will work. Once we get down into any of these levels, all right, if we wash Asia and hold, if we come down to trend line and hold, which is also POC, if we come down to this level and hold, then I'll be looking to see if I can get a bullish move back up, taking partials into these key levels. All right, so very, very simple. I'm not expecting a whole lot today on a Monday. Most of the momentum this week will probably come Tuesday and Thursday. Remember, we're a shortened week. All the red folder news is coming Tuesday and Thursday. Yes, we have news today. 9:45 Chicago PMI. 10 o'clock, I think it is. We have, or 10:30, we have Fed talk. Let me just check. Put it in the room earlier. I have to remind myself here. 10 o'clock Fed speaker, 1 o'clock Fed speaker. All right, so we do have some news coming. Let's have a look at the mag. How long have we got left? We have time. All right, Apple opening inside previous day range. All right, previous day high, previous day close. Not all of the mag look the same. Some are in breakout right now. Microsoft inside previous day range, and this is where it starts to change. Amazon breaking out. All right, previous day high, coming back into retest previous day high, but we did break out here. So does it hold these levels, or is it going to collapse all the way back down to previous day close, previous day low? Google in breakout as well. You can see comfortably above previous day high. Right, so that rally late on Friday, where the shorts got squeezed out, they covered into the weekend, and we've gapped up again into Monday. So Google in a breakout. Meta the same in a breakout. You can see here's your flag, right? Friday rally, gapping up this morning, holding gains at highs right now. 750 is going to be the level. Let me just check that. Is that all-time high? It is. All right, so Meta is in all-time high, and 750 is the level. You'd be watching that. Probably an option strike price there. Nvidia, same story, gapping up above, comfortably above most of the action Friday, coming into Friday's high right now to see if it protects it. And Tesla just dripping lower inside previous day range. All right, still inside previous day range. So you have a mixed bag here in the Mag 7. If we look at the VIX, VIX is also gapping up. All right, VIX starting to turn here. This is the one thing I'd be slightly concerned about. You can see the last few sessions, all we've done is drift lower. All right, and then we started to go sideways, and then we went in that breakout Friday, pulled back, but we've held it, and we're gapping up. So if VIX starts doing this move today, technically, we'd expect downside pressure on the market if we do that. So let's just see how we go here with the VIX, because if it's going to start to build consolidation in here, this will be potential for this squeeze trigger on the VIX, which will be downside pressure in the market. But again, I don't want to be too early. I don't need to be early to the party today. We can just let this market make its decision on a Monday. I'm not too fussed about trying to make money today. I just want to get to grips with it. I've been away for a couple of weeks, see how this market's acting, watching liquidity on the tape. Now, the other thing to note, there was some big sellers on the tape. There's one left right here. All right, all the way up at 22,900. There was more size earlier. Let me just have a little dance around. Yeah, okay. So just 900, the main level. And we know that's a banker and an algo because it's only showing on the BMD chart, not on the light chart. So this is an institution or an algo. Let's see if he gets filled in the morning push at the open, and we can go from there. See what's what after that. Let's clean this up a bit. That's pretty much it, folks. All right, that is pretty much it. Very, very simple. Market is in breakout. We're in an uptrend. Is it due a pullback? Probably. You'd say on the daily it's most definitely due a pullback. But are you going to guess when that pullback's going to happen? I'm certainly not going to. I'm going to let that start to prove itself, start to die before I even think about a higher time frame short. Let's see who's here with us today. Morning, everybody. Who have we got in here? Good morning, Miguel, Clint, Jesse, Ramus, Marek, Aaron, BU, Jeff, Thumper, Brandon, Tibor, Jake, Eva, Aga, Mike, Christy, Jesse M, Trentry, Richard, Peter, Raphael, Ken, Brad, Toby, Leron, Christy, Bartholomew, John Lucan, Arturo, Firewater, Willa, ERF. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Right, as a reminder, I did pin it in the chat in case you're interested. Today is the last day of the fire sale with Tradeify. 35% off all accounts right now. It means you can get a 50K growth account for $90 right now. No activation fee. That's my recommended account to go for. And they just changed the rules from 10-day to 7-day payouts, right? So you just need to trade 7 days, 5-day green, and you will get a payout now on Tradeify. So they're the only firm I know making it easier for you to take money out the market. Easier, not harder. All right, we have just over 2 minutes here. I'm going to go and get a top up in my water, and I'll be right back, and then we'll trade together. Remember also today, end of month, end of quarter, all right, end of Q2 today. So once we get into tomorrow, we're going to be in new week, new month, new quarter. All right, so how we close this quarter will be important for the quarterly charts and monthly charts. Just think about that as well. So I'm quite happy for this market to keep drifting higher. It's absolutely fine. I think at some point in the next quarter, we'll offer a very deep, nice pullback to be involved in the short side and then to buy back up long term, which is what I'll be looking to do. I've been waiting for this move for a while. So let's see if we get it in the summer months, possibly. And the volume has been considerably lower the last week. Lots of people leaving. Morning, Calypso, Tim V, Kim W, Shane V. Good morning, everyone. Right, so just under a minute left until the open. Remember this purple box here, it's just all-time high, nothing really to worry about. In fact, I might just change that for horizontal line. 870s, somewhere around there. All right, here's the open, folks. Let's see what we get. Let's see what we get. Having a quick look at the mag. Tesla gapping down, everything else gapping up. Amazon also with a slight gap down, 0.25%. Tesla over 1% down. Zoom this out a little bit. We're coming into London lows here. Double bottom here at 850 so far. So interested to see if they liquidate that for that move lower. Still holding comfortably above previous day high. Remember, previous day high right now at 825. Not in a rush to do anything this morning. I'm just going to let this market decide what it is that it's looking to do. Watching the liquidity on the book to see how they move around. Stacking up some sellers at 915, 925 right now. Those big institutional orders left the book, so those 300 lots have all gone. Dips holding this morning has been the theme. Be nice and patient. I've got a call after this session with Apex, so let's see if we can get some more codes out of them. I have got some more codes. I think I'll continue to do a giveaway every Friday. I think that's going to be the plan from now on. So at the moment, I've got some more codes for at least for the next couple months to do any size account every Friday, and I might start giving away some other stuff like some of my indicators. All right, so starting to protect New York Open. Where's my New York Open? Right on all-time highs, this blue line. Starting to see them protect that to the downside here as ES is trading back down towards previous day high. This is an area where I'm interested to see, do buyers step in today into these levels on the spiders, right? The main things I'm watching right now is this SPY, ETF, and the ES coming into old Friday's highs. So watching to see if SPY holds sort of 616 down to 615.50. If they find a bid there, then I'm going to assume we're going to have continuation higher. If they fail those levels, then we're going to go for a flush point lower. So we're trading into it now already on the Qs, coming into that previous day high at 825. So flush point this morning, some profit taking. Are they going to find bids down here to take it higher? Watching very, very carefully. That red line across your screen is previous day high. Right, if we start flushing through that, and you have a move for PDC and Globex. That's PDC and that is Globex. Sorry, I just made it a bit thicker because it was a bit hard to see there. All right, so ES into PDH. SPY also into PDH. So these are key levels right now. Are they going to absorb these? Is this a dip down into previous day high, which becomes support? Or is there more heaviness to come today? Like we said, VIX is gapping up. That's the one thing I was slightly concerned about. It's gapping up after starting to break sideways or break out of its sideways channel. It's not taken out previous day high yet on VIX. So I'm watching to see if VIX wants to do that. If we get a bounce here, which is sold into, then I'm going to assume that if we get stuck here into sort of 850s, that we're going to come down for Globex and maybe PDC for that gap fill. If we start reclaiming VWAP, then I'm going to assume that this is a dip being absorbed to go higher. So I just want to see one push up here to see how we respond now. So far, straight selling this morning. Tesla red, Nvidia now red, Amazon red, Apple just about gone red on the day, Microsoft going red on the day now as well. So Meta and Google with the strength. We talked about that pre-market. They're the ones gapping up, holding their gains. Everything else starting to see a bit of a collapse here. So don't want to chase this down, really. Just want to see a pop up be sold into, or a drive up not be sold into and reclaim key levels. And then we know, okay, shorts are trapped at the lows. Plenty of time here. We're not even 5 minutes in yet. See if this can drive out here. And if there are any sellers present to create a new leg lower. Remember, I'm watching the higher time frames. I know you're watching the lower time frames here. I'm watching these levels here to see if we absorb into it. Remember, these are Friday's highs. This is value area high. Are we going to find someone to come in here and cause a bid, or are we going to get stuck here, or maybe we do something like this to come lower? Those are the options right now. I do not want to chase these at the low of session. At the moment, no bids on the tape really. At least we have a bit of range here this morning. 60 points so far in the first 5 minutes. Got to be better than those sessions I was here for last week. ES starting to let go here. I'd be very, very cautious if ES starts to let go of that 635 level. 6235, sorry. For a move deeper for a gap fill. You want to see it kind of maybe wick and absorb for a drive higher. So far, just straight selling, no pops to sell into, no structure here to play off. So just being patient. We're extended away, coming down into Globex now already. Just one of those things. Sometimes this is what happens. You just get a straight sell-off. The sell was probably pre-market before the open. That flag break while we were talking. This here on that sell signal. I'm just waiting. I'm hoping that we come and offer some form of retest and leave some liquidity down here to come for, or reclaim to go higher. So I'm waiting for the market to try and get back into these levels at the moment to see how it acts. Morning, Coop. So reclaiming previous day high here. ES doing the same. We can put an anchor on as well. I haven't done that yet this morning. That's your New York session view up there. All right, so squeezing back up here. So swept underneath previous day high. Finding a bid here so far. The question is, how far up does this want to go? And are there going to be sellers present when we drive up? Or was this just a sweep and a back test of previous day high? If you think about that from a daily S&R point, all we've done is come back down to old resistance, become new support. Can they bid off this to create new highs? Or are they going to bid off this and find that there's more sellers wanting lower prices right now? That's the question that we're asking at the moment. How high does this get? Can it come up to flow zones? Come and test that sort of 50 area where we just broke down from, this sort of pivot along here? Or if it reclaims it, then I'm going to assume that we're going to make new highs at that point. Still got a bit in my chest. Coop, you're probably the same. I would say you're probably a few days behind me. It lasts a while. Not fun. It has not been fun. Went from fever to sinus pressure to coughing everything up. So spiders coming back towards their VWAP right now. 17s basically, 617s on the SPY. Here's your VWAP. If it starts to reclaim that, there's a chance that this just sends it. VIX did get through previous day high and failed, turning back inside. No trades for me yet, just waiting here. I want to see if sellers come back in these sort of areas we're coming into now, or if we're just going to squeeze straight through and we're going to start to reprice for new all-time highs. So was that dip this morning just a dip to be bought up? That's kind of the question. Or is it a dip to be bought up? I have to get tissue here. Coughing lots up still. previous day high here. All right, we're into battle, lower time frame battle here, because you're in a battle of, are they going to make a new low or not? Or is this the first higher low which can be made? All right, so we're into battle zones, lower time frame, at those key areas that we talked about before. All right, think about the higher time frame now. We're in that blue box. It's a battle area. All right, so if bulls take control here, then we expect us to rotate back up. If we start reclaiming sort of 850, 870s, there's a good chance we make a move for new all-time highs. If they keep failing in every pop, once we break down underneath Asia, there could be a nasty move lower, I would say. Yeah, that's an institutional seller. That guy at 850, the 400 lot. So anyone that's using Bookmap, when you put that light filter on, you'll see that you won't see him present. But if you go on the BMD, the normal chart, you'll see him present, 400 lot at 850. If you go to the light filter, he's not there. So we know it's a algo or institution, someone providing liquidity for the market. Take profit trader 40% off. Is it really? I didn't even know that. Amazing. Well, use code FLOWZONE. I'll get you 40% off. Thank you, Marek. Great time to do that. I should probably check my emails from them. So building out potential flag here. And the risk is that this is a higher low and we do this. So I'm still interested once we get up here. I want to see if we get up here and fail, or we get up here and reclaim for the hold. I don't really want to action anything here yet. This is the sort of channel you're looking at. We're still technically printing above previous day high across the indexes right now. Just remember that. What is the person above me doing? Honestly. They're changing intraday drawdown to end of day. Wow. Well, that just got a lot better, didn't it? That's amazing, Miguel. So still holding here. Price still holding, just trapped here, going sideways. We're at a key level, just waiting to see if this market pushes out higher and finds failure, or if it pushes out higher and starts to reclaim. Back to previous day high again here. Liquidity being provided lower right now, sub 800. Here's the drive down. Are they going to start to let this go here now? It's very tempting to get involved at this point. Momentum coming in, strong selling coming in. There you go. There's your break of your new low. Probably should have grabbed a bit of that. I was looking for it to drive higher first, unfortunately. There's your Globex being tapped into. So still not in this. I'm very, very close to considering here, but I really wanted to squeeze higher first before we think about closing this gap down to 750. But so far, protecting this orange line, which is Globex, and finding a bid off it. There are some buyers down at 800. There are some buyers down there. Mag not in unison right now either. Plenty of time yet. Not even at the orb yet. You've got another 20 seconds yet till this orb is set. It's going to be a decent sized orb today. 70 odd points. We do have divergence there. ES failing to make a new low. NQ making a new low. So relative weakness in the ES. In the NQ, sorry. So back towards previous day high here, previous week high. Tapping into it, ES reclaiming it. Still no trade here for me yet. Still not seeing what I want to see. Again, Monday, first proper trading day back for me. I'm going to be very, very patient here. Want it to be absolutely clear and obvious. Slightly concerned that NQ broke the lows there and ES didn't. So if they're going to trigger a squeeze, that's a good first signature that they might want to do it. But VIX is still building a potential flag at previous day high here. So nothing in unison, and the MAG not in unison. Tesla 0.88% down, Nvidia 0.55% down, Amazon 0.25% down, Meta 0.58% up, Google 0.33% up, Microsoft 0.25% up, Apple flat. All right, so nothing in unison right now. YN the strongest of the day, approaching 0.5% up on that index. Remember, a new low day break will be your opening range break to the downside. If they protect that, it will be a hold of that opening range, and it might want to revisit the top side. Again, you have divergence with the ES. It's the main thing at the moment I'm watching. Yeah, starting to look a little bit heavy here. Still not breaking down, still protecting previous day high. Very, very tricky at these levels right now. It's starting to shape, Mike. It might want to break down here on the ES. It's very, very tricky though. I want to see that VIX get going really if the ES is going to do it. Liquidity is at 800. Like I said, there is liquidity at 800 on the Qs. If they want to go and pick up these buys, that's where they are. They're making themselves known down there. Not huge size, but they are there. It's a shame. Wanted the short, but it's just not at a level that I'm interested in. Back towards that Globex low here. Break might be coming up. Remember, this will be your opening range break. If we break down here for a new low, that's what it will be. It'll be an opening range break. Globex low is your opening range low. ES still not doing it. Still protecting those lows on ES. It feels like it's coming here. VIX is trying to build to do that breakout, but it's very, very tricky. Especially around the previous day high, which is where we're at on the ES. We're just bouncing around that previous day high. They're not willing to let go of it. Yeah, Fed talk at 10 o'clock. You're right. Fed talk at 10 o'clock, and then I think again at 1 or 1:30. So you can see, failed to break the low there. They're making this very, very tricky, just like the last few days. Remember, the higher time frame narrative is upside right now. It's just how deep do they want this pullback before they do that move? They just added liquidity on the book now, 850. So a 400 lot just came on the book at 850. This is the biggest size we've seen for a long time on the book. Well, for as long as I can remember. I remember much size before we left and not much size here now. And then 400 lot on the book. Here's your opening range. Tapping into that Globex. Remember, 800 whole number as well. You can think about that. We break the opening range lows. There is a chance to go and close that gap, I would say. There's your sweep of 800 there. ES still not breaking down. VIX still not breaking out. Nothing in unison yet. It's trying to come, but it's not there yet, folks. It wants to break down to previous day close. It just can't get any follow through right now. I've got a feeling they're going to do it and not give me a chance to get in here. New low there on ES. So if you're in this, from where I hesitated here, that's probably a decent trade. I'd be taking a partial that's 30 odd points. Yeah, not got a whole lot of range to play with at the moment. 30 odd points out of an 80-point range. Be very careful if they start to reclaim. Like I said, the pullbacks, the shorts today are pullbacks for higher time frames to get long. It's just a question of where do they save it. We've now swept Asia on on the NQ. The only thing left would be a move to PDC, which is down here. If they start to reclaim this, then this will be the dip to be soaked up and bought. But this is your gap fill. Gap fill will be here. So the opportunity right now is an orb down to here or a reclaim back to the top side. Really not much liquidity on the book other than that 400 lot at 850. Very thin down here otherwise. Some orders 790, 785, 750, but it's not big size, very, very small size if they're going to do that move. Meta, Goog, and Microsoft still all green. Goog about to go green to red, so then you're going to have Meta and Microsoft the only ones left. Reclaiming the orb here again, or at least retesting the orb here again. So a lack of follow through outside the orb here this morning. Like I said, I expect it to be very tricky today on a Monday with a lack of news. Red folder news is coming tomorrow, and we have a shortened week. And today is end of month, end of quarter. ES coming back for a possible back test of previous day high after breaking out away from it. But you know, I do not have much conviction here in terms of volume and size of the move away. Reclaiming previous day high here on the ES and the spiders. This is very much like, well, I didn't really trade last week, but from what I saw, a real lack of downside follow through. Every move down ended up getting absorbed to later go and make new highs. So it feels kind of similar to that right now. Lack of downside follow through in the market. And it's because the main trend is up. At the moment, it feels like it's being dragged up towards that magnet, the 400 lot at 850, which is VWAP. The problem is, if we get up there now, it will mean we will have definitely changed the lower time frame trend. So I'll be far less interested in the short at that point. It's a shame we didn't get what we wanted. I would have way preferred this to give one more push up and then fail to do this move, because then we could have had good RR for a partial into here and a runner into here. Don't always get what we want though. So that 400 lot just moved down to 830 now. He's looking to get filled at 830 now. I'm not even convinced he's legit. I think he's a liquidity provider. VIX did break out above previous day high. It's back testing it now. Let's see if it finds a bid here or not. If it doesn't, then we're going to go back into range. Market should pop up higher. If it finds a bid here on a VIX for a drive higher, then we might get a new sell. I'll be watching the VIX to see if we can get into 1750 really. That's that pivot from last Wednesday. Back down towards the lows again. This is where we just bounced off, back towards Globex and the orb again. Seller now at 820. He's just walking down. He hasn't been filled once. So he was at 850, then 830, then 820. Let's see if he gets filled here or if he's a faker. He's right there at 820, 400 lot. So far, nothing filled on that drive. Didn't quite make it to him. 19s. Should be trying to fill him here. See if he's legit. There you go, filled. So squeezing through that seller now. So he was legit. And we might be going on a move back up towards VWAP now. Breaking out of this channel. If dips start to hold, this was a sweep of Globex. If dips start to hold and we start to do this, then we're going to try and print up towards New York, especially if the MAG are going to go green. We're not through this New York VWAP yet, though. Again, lots of patience required on a Monday morning, end of month, end of quarter with no news. Fed talk coming here in 3.5 minutes. Seller back on the book again, 835, 400 lot again. Just seeing if this is going to bottom out here for that curl and go or not. You can see on the higher time frame though, we came and tested the value area high. The bottom of my blue box, you can see right here, value area high from last week. We came and tested it. We're starting to find bids off it. It's just nothing's proven yet. We've not got through the flow zones or anything like that, but it's starting to attempt it. The biggest problem right now is if this market is going to go for a deeper drive, the next push up on an hourly or 30-minute chart is likely to be the start of the first lower high. All right, so if it's going to happen today, then we'd expect something into here to form a lower high for this move back down into here. And then if we get stuck under here, trade into here. And if we get stuck under here lower, or we sweep to come higher. So this is like a range, this Friday's range that I'm interested in. We're protecting that range so far, but do we reject 850s in this next drive up? There's lots to consider here if we're going to put in a top, a short-term top I'm talking about. New hourly bar, new 4-hour bar here coming in 90 seconds as well. So let's get to that and then see what we've got here. Stuck at the New York VWAP so far. SPY not through its VWAP yet. That last drive up on the spider came and tested its ETF VWAP and failed. Lots of chop here while it makes a decision, folks. Building liquidity for the next move. Remember, we're in a higher time frame point of interest to move higher, and there is a potential that we get stuck at 55, and that's the danger right now. Definitely not. This market's not something I want to really be buying up in these levels at the moment, not unless it can really prove it's got enough shorts trapped, which for me, I don't think it's done yet. Right, new hour, new 4-hour candle here now. Trading around point of control on the session. Filled that big seller up there. He got filled. Cleaned out that liquidity. This is the problem. If they're going to drive up here and get stuck, this is the kind of level into sort of VWAP 850, somewhere around there, London low. It's a tricky one here today. Just inside that opening range right now. Nothing outside of the opening range yet. Higher time frame buyers remain in control until proves otherwise, but we've definitely or potentially have created supply overhead, right? Where we think about overhead, where we went sideways, I would say it's potential, right? These kind of levels here, if we react from these for a move lower, then you'll know that these buyers up here are stuck. If we start to reclaim, all right, if we start to reclaim these levels, then the upside move squeezes potential for new highs. Again, not expecting too much today on a Monday where we have no big red folder news, no big news drivers. Again, mixed bag in the mag. Just look at the mag. It's good indication that we're not in unison. Tesla almost 1% down. Nvidia 0.5% down. Amazon 0.41% down. Apple 0.16% down. Meta 1.22% up. Google 1/3% up. Microsoft battling between red and green right now. Liquidity on the book is higher. 840, 845, 855 right now. Starting to try and take back the flow zones here by the looks of it. Still not convinced. SPY still under VWAP as well. QQQ under its VWAP. So not convinced by anything yet. Even off these lows, the bounce is what, 30, 40 points? There's nothing. Just not much range in here yet. Definitely starting to curl though. If you think about this here, this here, and this here. If dips start to hold here and we start to break above this, this will be your neckline break or you squeeze higher. If they fail this push, we get an instant rotation. Remember your current range on the session, you're getting failed moves outside of it. Think about this orb. 50% of it. We keep driving into 50% of the opening range and failing. Six, 2, 4, 3. Oh yeah, I can see him. Yeah, you got 1,000 lot there. 1,098. He's actually at 41 and 1 tick, not 43. 6241.25 is where he's at, just so you know. Oh my god. I think we just need to get through this week, folks. I think we need to get into these July 8th, July 9th tariffs, and then we'll get some volatility back. Unless we get something make an impact before then, some form of news. Yes, looks like I might want to break down here. Lots of wicks down here. 37s on ES. If it starts letting go of those, I'd say it's problematic. Bostic. Advanced warnings of tariffs has allowed businesses to manage the process. There's a lot of uncertainty where trade policy will go. I mean, he's just stating the obvious right now. Yeah, starting to break down here. Negative sentiment, I guess that's from Bostic. Bit of volatility coming into the market here. So does ES make a new low here or not? And it just let go of those 37s like I just talked about. Instant move down to 35 and being absorbed. More games here being played by the looks of it. How long's Bostic talking for? How long do we need to deal with this for? Another hour? Find it. Oh my days, what a chop fest. What a chop fest. I feel like this is probably what you lot have been dealing with for the last week or so. Slow grind higher with chop fest. All right, NQ's trying to put in that right shoulder, inverted right shoulder to move higher. ES not quite there yet. Just failed to break the low though. That is a signature of shorts not getting what they want. But again, we're just still trading sideways really. This is a sideways move. This is where liquidity is being built. Right here. Liquidity is telling me it wants to move higher into 850, 850, 855, but very hard to trust given what I'm seeing here. So possibly long triggers coming up here if they're going to start to confirm and start to flip flow zones and start to hold price above some VWAPs. But SPY not through its VWAP yet. And the mag is all red other than Meta, Google, and Microsoft. And Google and Microsoft could go red very quickly. So again, it's very hard to trust this move right now. And not seeing much buying pressure come in. Where is my delta? Disappeared. Delta negative as well. No way. Not touching this still. Money Printer FX says, found my channel over the weekend, ends up binge watching 15 hours of content. Well, hopefully it's helped. Hopefully it's helped. I'm being very patient here this morning. There is potential. There is potential if they've trapped enough for this move here. Okay, but the problem is that we're not in unison and really we're trapped in this range and we're inside the orb. So I'm just being very, 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 very patient here. I do not want to get chopped up in this small range because really for the last, I don't know, 30 odd minutes, we're really trading in 35 point range. Nothing really to do there. As most of you have known who've been with me for many, many months, I'm normally looking for 50 to 100 points where I can get it. But this market is not offering that. So I'm going to have to be very patient. Relative weakness here in the ES now. Can't get through previous day high. It's trying again. Another attempt. Watching the spiders. If spiders get through their VWAP and through the low time frame algo and through the flow zones, then we might be off to the races. But if they can't do that, if pops start to fail, like I said, the big danger here is in the higher time frame right now. Because of the strength of this 30-minute and hourly bar, if we drive up to here and find failures, shorts will look for this breakdown here. That is the danger at the moment in thinking about a long. When lacking, you're almost safer to wait for the higher time frame to get through here now at this point, because we've peaked over all-time high. Remember, this is all-time high. We've peaked over it. We've failed. We've come under it. We're back to value area low from Friday. Or is that right? Value area high from Friday, sorry. We can push up and find failure here. So I'm almost rather wait for this or this at this point, rather than get chopped up while they battle in this range. And that neckline break is now playing out, and you are now at VWAP. And there is liquidity here, 850, like I said. So battleground here. This is the decision point for some of these high time frame traders. We're trading into the low side of London here. They start squeezing this. Can see us getting back to that New York Open, but the mag's going to have to join in. And it's definitely not. Meta, the strong one. Everything else looks pretty weak. Meta, 1.75% up. Everything else looking pretty weak here so far. So there's VWAP. ES about to trade into its VWAP. SPY now through its VWAP and through its lower time frame algo. Decision point here on and in terms of structure and pivot right here, right now. Just didn't trust that long given what I was seeing. Is there a bigger squeeze out higher here? It's very possible. ES failing its VWAP, not getting through it. NQ wants to go. It wants to go. It's just got no momentum to the upside. It's trying. Like I said, it's battleground here because of the pivots on the high time frame. If it starts squeezing through this, we're going. Joining in here, just a small piece was I do not trust this, but if it wants to go, we need ES to join in and participate. I already don't like that. Don't like that reaction from ES. I might take this off and just wait. See if we get a pullback that holds here. SPY looks good. It's the pivots that the problem, all right? It's that we're trading into where we just failed. So basic S&R. Support becomes resistance. There's your flag. There's your breakdown. There's the curl. This is the problem. Higher time frame might want to sell this lower. So I'm actually going to wait. I put one on and then thought better about it and took it back off. I'm just going to wait to see how we react here. That's weird. Sorry, it must happen when I moved it. ES found a bid again off previous day high. This is tricky, folks. Trading between 2 points of interest right now. Right, the points of interest are on the higher time frame. Right, we're trading between this area here, this blue box basically where we broke out from. Remember, this is Friday failure, and then we reclaimed it. So this is a RBS, and this can be an SBR. All right, so this is where we're trading between. This is why I'm being overly cautious potentially, but I do not want to get, if this is the first lower high that they set, I want to be very careful, because if they're going to say, hey, we're done, we've made all-time highs, we're done, which I find unlikely given that ES hasn't done the move yet, but it's possible. I want to be very careful. Back to VWAP. So trading between the two VWAPs as well. Again, not something I'm interested in. 24-hour VWAP, New York Anchor VWAP. ES, again, rejecting. It's rejecting its VWAP up there. Heavier selling coming in here. Again, Meta, the only one holding this market up right now. 1.51% up. Everything else has gone red on the session. Google is Microsoft flirting red to green, but everything else considerably red. You're not in unison. VIX as well, just sideways, basing out just under previous day high, potentially making a flag to go higher on the VIX. They're not making this easy. No follow through today. Probably one short of the open, and that is about it. Otherwise, you're scrapping around for 30, 40 points of range right now. Previous day high, previous week high again here. They're starting to fail. It's a pretty strong sell off the SPY VWAP there. Poke through and sold. VIX starting to break out above previous day high. Like I said, it's starting to do that VIX, that flag here on the VIX. Yeah, I've got BBAI on a long-term watch, but I want dips under 5. And only if it doesn't hit 10 first. Yeah, I think that's possible. It is very much possible that Ironclad, if they're going to close a gap. But remember, there's been a lack of momentum to the downside for the last few weeks. So if you're looking for that move, it's not an easy move because you don't have higher time frame sellers selling it yet. They potentially have started to sell it versus the London low, but very, very tricky. Nice, JD. Yeah, I think long term, I really like it. In that sort of defense AI space, I like the sector. Obviously, they're not profitable yet, so it's very, very early. But you know, if they did the same kind of move, took out 10, took out that 16 high, the fib says it goes to 25, and then you see what's what. I mean, by that, I'm talking over a number of months and years. Yeah, I see it, Miguel. Did it? Oh, I didn't know. Thank you. Yeah, I know Ironclad. Well, the other thing to look at there then is look at Bull. Look at the pattern that Bull is doing and look at the pattern that Hood is doing or did. That big sell-off from Hood, you know, post GME saga, goes sideways all the way down at 8s or 6s, whatever it was, and then that huge curl back up. If you look at, if you want to look at like sectors and baskets, then have a look at Bull, Webull. Same kind of thing, doing the same kind of move. Right, ES looking a bit weaker here, potentially looking for a breakdown here. This is the right shoulder. If they start letting go of this right shoulder, if these bulls start getting stuck and don't get their move higher, and we start breaking lows, then you would imagine we get that move to PDC. But like I said, very, very tricky here, just trading sideways at a high, or between higher time frame points of interest. This market does not know what it wants to do. ES looking weak. ES look like it's going to break the lows. Qs does not look like it's going to do that yet. There's the low break. Are we going to start washing now? Back towards Globex here. I want to be involved in this. I want to find a way of getting involved. ES sweeping the lows. Want to be very careful. If ES turns back inside, then you're going to have divergence for the third time today. So ES broke the lows. Qs did not break the lows here. Market all red other than Meta. Meta holding the Qs up right now. The next pop starts to fail here on the Qs, then you've got to think we're going to probably expand beyond that opening range. There is a seller up at 840 or 840, I have to zoom in there. 842.50, 900 lot. Big size on the tape today, probably closing their quarterly positions. Big size. They were not around last week when I looked and couldn't find orders above 50 lots. We're looking at 900 lots here on the tape. We get an inside M1 bar here or M2 bar here, and then it breaks lower, then I think you get that move. There's your inside bar on an M1. I'm watching that 800. Protecting the inside bar so far. What a battle over such small amount of points. So divergence there. ES making lows. NQ not making lows. Protecting its Globex, protecting its opening range, coming back up towards previous day high. We're just trapped in between some major levels right now. VIX broke out there. Is it going to find a bid here for continuation on the VIX? If it does, you would think we'd move lower, but like we've talked about, downside momentum has not really been present in this market. Just in a sideways channel. Do not get trapped here, folks. If the market doesn't give you what you want, do not get trapped in it. Do not force your way into it. Choppy action. Watching these levels here if they start to reject next drive up or not, or if they reclaim. Don't like that 900 lot up at 840 if we're thinking about lower prices. It's just attracting it to get up there right now. Are they going to let this go? Again, 908 lot up at 22,842.5. ES did break the low and make a low of day. NQ's not done it. So, and ES is now trading sideways. So just watching to see if they're going to make a new low here and let this thing go outside of the orb, outside of Globex for a gap fill. Otherwise, people are going to get stuck. If you don't get the breakdown and shorts are all looking for the same thing, remember that's where they get stuck. If we get the breakdown, you should get continuation back down towards PDC. VIX starting to build up now. It broke out, it's held its bid. So watching to see if they build this right shoulder, left shoulder, head, right shoulder for a wash, or if they start to reclaim here and we go back into chop. Right, so this, did they use this for a breakdown? You will need a clear break under here for a wash back down to this level here. This will be the target if they do it. If they fail to break down under here, then they will trap short sellers and they will do this move back up again. It is building liquidity. It's what this market's doing right now. It's just building liquidity out. Point of control on the day is at 825. Lots of volume down here now. Someone's going to get hurt at some point. All you have to do is look at like a 5-minute chart on the SPY. It looks disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Patient. ES back to PDH. From a daily point of view, we are still holding bids across the indexes above previous day highs right now. I would be very cautious until I see a strong failure away from previous day high at the moment. Because from a daily S&R point of view, we are holding bids. It hadn't. Yeah, I didn't think it had. You forgot. $900 lots still up there. 22842.5. Again, Mag 7, all red other than Meta. What a chop fest. What a chop fest. This will test patience of traders. Like I said, I had one trader, took it off straight away because I thought, hang on, I don't like this long. Take it off, wait for it to build more. It just shows even I sometimes can make snap decisions and regret it instantly. And when I regret it instantly, I take it off instantly. I don't wait to find out. SPY having another go at view up now. So divergence here. This here is what some of you would call SMT divergence. ES broke down and is reclaiming. NQ didn't break down, didn't reclaim, which means what? Shorts here didn't get the move that they wanted, which means if they entered short here, they're now stuck. And this is what we're talking about. If they fail to get the move they want, they get stuck. And when they get stuck, they start to cover. If they cover, they buy back the market, and we get what we're seeing now. It's like a little squeeze back upside. But ES and SPY into their VWAP again. QQQ, the same thing, into its VWAP. This is ugly, man. This could be a giant channel like this now as well. Let me draw it. Still stuck at that VWAP. I'm not convinced anyone's winning yet today. I'm not convinced in this session, at least, any buyer or seller is winning. Job market is stable and there's a low desire from businesses to hire or fire. Trump has strong views Fed could lower interest rates soon on. Hate to break it to you, Trump has nothing to do with the Fed decision. If it keeps doing this, folks, I'm going to get off. I can't watch this much longer. Initial balance now set. This is shocking. Has it been this bad the whole time I was away? This is so bad. I'm up $19 on that break-even trade. Man. Taco money, yeah. Woohoo, $19. Stuck between those two VWAPs again. Again, that previous day high battleground. VIX is still building. Always the way, eh? Market does it when we leave. Might well be right. It feels like it wants to squeeze upside just based on the liquidity at the moment. But again, I don't trust anything I'm seeing right now. There's a real lack of volume, lack of momentum. Look at the volume just tapered right off. So you had one push here on the sell. Make sure I'm on the right chart. One push here, absorbed, goes sideways, push up, and there's no volume. And even that at the beginning of the day is lackluster. So there's no new money participants in the market. So the biggest problem right now, no new money long wants to be buying right now. There's no reason to buy at all-time highs. And there's no reason to take profits because there's been no shift in the market. And that's why we're getting these stagnant days at the moment. Until we get some form of news driver which is going to change that narrative, force them to sell or force new money to come in and buy the market up, then we're going to get these choppy kind of non-existent days. Plus, it's summer. Always lower volume in summer. Summer trading. So previous day high, previous week high, tapped into again. This red line here, yet again tapped into. We're just going over, under, non-stop while it builds liquidity to make its decision. Just the one notable thing is that QQQ and SPY cannot get a 5-minute close above their VWAPs. And that is something I'm taking note of right now. Yeah, absolutely. Well, not just the bill, the tariffs, the 8th and 9th, the tariffs, although he said he's going to delay it again. I mean, how long are you going to kick a fucking can down the road, mate? Like, make all these threats. You're going to have to do something. So I think the tariffs is probably the first thing because it's not far away. We're, 10 days away from that now? 9 days away from it. So that will be the first thing, which will be next week. And then, yeah, maybe the result on the bill. But I think that bill could go on and on and on and on. VIX trying to break out again here. VIX breaks out, I expect it to try and get to 1750. Just in this channel still. Maybe if you're a range trader, low time frame range trader, you might have made a bit of money today. How long is this 40% sale on TPT on for? I was saying it's 40% now. This market is really doing nothing. ES coming back down towards its initial balance low here. Do they protect this low, or are we going to get the breakdown? QQQ is just at its previous day high. SPY considerably under it, breaking lower. We're into the bottom side of this channel. Potential big bear flag, that kind of move. But, you know, they might just absorb this again. I'm watching the ES approaching its current low of day, initial balance low. Apparently it's 40% off. I didn't know it, but apparently it is 40% off TPT now. So I'd have to check the actual what that means in terms of prices. There's your break. ES breaking out from initial balance low. We're still not there yet on the NQ. Is there any follow through? Or are we in a rotation day where we get divergence and ES takes one side and then goes straight back the other side? VIX breaking out. See, NQ unwilling to get anywhere near down there. ES already reclaiming IB low. This is it. They're just going to keep chopping today. This is for me, this is a no trade day so far. It's telling me that they're going to chop and chop and chop without follow through. And in terms of like flow zone and trying to trade momentum, that means there's no momentum. Okay, limited time. And have they changed the rules yet, Miguel, or they're going to change it? You can use code FlowZone. We'll give you 40% off right now on Take Profit Trader. I'll have to check those prices. And the Divergence making this dreadful to trade. So ES again, breaking new low of day, underneath the initial balance, and then reclaiming IB straight away. NQ never got anywhere near this level down here. Remember, ES is all the way down here right now, and is still holding its channel. So protecting the lows. So you can say higher low, higher low, higher low, lower high, lower high. We are in a wedge right now. We're wedging in. Pro is intraday, Pro Plus. Yeah, I think they only accept capital letters. So flow zone capital letters get you a discount. VIX holding its gains at the highs here. Market not really bleeding with it. Inside bar, you wonder if they're going to give a flush moment here in this market. Here it comes. Is there follow through? Trading a little bit of this now. See if I can get a tiny scalp back down towards initial balance low. Apparently not. Absorbed straight away on that double bottom. Locked some in. ES, much easier trader here right now. Breaking a new low again. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll post it in here so you can all have it. There you go. So 40% off there, 35% off Tradeify. Tradeify ends tonight. The Tradeify sale ends tonight, 35% off sale. And they have moved from needing 10 trading days to 7 trading days to get paid. So even easier now to get paid. Look at that, protecting it again. So it's the second break-even trade for me of the day. Unsurprising, but I'm not willing to give this room. No volume again. Look at the volume. Just non-existent. This is probably going to be a dreadful session unless we can get out of the range. But if you look at 15 and 30 minute, if we fail to break the low and we break upside, then we're going to do an inverted head and shoulders on a 15 and 30 minute, and we're going to drive higher for all-time highs. And that is something I will play. So again, notice the difference here. NQ failed to break the lows. Shorts get trapped. I take a break even. Other shorts aren't sensible enough to take it. And we go upside. Look at the difference between this and ES. Lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low. Shorts made their money here. NQ shorts did not make their money. They got trapped, which is why we're now going upside. They're being forced to cover because their cover points really were here and here. This is what I was looking for. Once we didn't do it, I took it off. Can always get back in, remember. It costs you $2 or something for a round trip. With your micros, even less, like 50 cents for a round trip. Just take it off. Who cares about losing 50 cents or $2? Just take it off and wait. I really do not like the divergence in this market right now. Not looking good for confluence on a trade. Yeah, Top Step is only 5 days, but you have to pay a lot more money. Yeah. So it's horses for courses. Top Step is way more expensive. I think they're going to be forced to change their what should I say? Their pricing strategy soon. I think they're losing too much market share probably at Top Step. So back down towards that channel again. So popped up, came back down. Like there's not much range in here. 20s to 40s, 20-point push up, 20-point pull down. Holding this channel, it's wicked under it, but we've got lots of liquidity, probably at 810s now, although not really showing much on the book down there. There is a seller at 830, 100 lot at 830. Just come on the book now. We're inside the initial balance. We're inside the opening range. We expect choppy action all the time. We remain inside. We expect very, very choppy action. Once we get outside of that range, we're either looking for expansion or rotation back inside. You have divergence between NQ and ES. ES back to its initial balance low again. Market all red other than Meta. Microsoft just about gone green, but the rest of the market red. Will the bears get their breakdown that they're looking for? It's the same level, 810. Keeps absorbing off 810. That's how many wicks we got down there now? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 wicks. Protecting Globex. ES got under initial balance, traded back inside again, hasn't made a new low. Right, so just again, I'm just commentating on the market. I'm not in a position right now. Nothing to trade here for me. Very, very choppy action. I had 2 attempts, 2 break evens. I'm actually up on those break evens, small size, but it's inconsequential because then won't go down as wins in my book. Back to VWAP. So protecting the lows again on NQ. ES back inside of IB. This is so bad. I can't believe, like, you know, since that morning flush, really since, man, since the open, really, take the first 2 minutes out, we're trading in a 50-point range, and most of that is not even in 50 points. Most of that is in a 30-point range because we failed outside and we failed outside. So most of the action today, if you're a range trader, this is your range. Anything outside has been a failure. Once we get a base outside or a base outside, that we can get a bigger move. But until that point, we're just tapering and going sideways. And that means we're building liquidity for the next move, whether that's an expansion downside or a reclaim of the upside to do that big inverted head and shoulders, which on the higher time frame will look like this. All right, it would mean a reclaim up here and a bounce here for this. All right, so this would have been a drive back down to retest this area, which has been blue all morning. We expected it to come in here and maybe look for a bounce, but I don't like how it's setting up, so I'll wait for that if we're going to go upside, or I'll wait or clear rejection for a further move downside. What I don't really want to do is initiate anything in here at the moment. Does that make sense? It's going to require patience. Remember, the pro trend is up. One thing to say, the pro trend is up. The easier trade over the last week has been an upside move. We're in a market in breakout since Monday last week. Closed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'd like to see us drift higher, then some kind of failure back end of this week or next week. And if we get stuck here, hopefully we do this, right, which will offer an amazing short this summer. And then when we get down here, Alex is going to be a long-term buyer. That's what I'd like to see happen. Whether it happens or not, time will tell. So you can see this wedging in. Higher low, equal low, higher low, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Someone in here is going to get hurt, all right? Someone in there is going to get hurt. Don't let it be you. What's up, Poppy? How many likes we got in here? I haven't looked. How many people watching? How many likes have we got? Wow, we need to get these watchers back up to where they were before I left. 100 short of where they need to be. Well, if we can get to 100 likes, which is a bit hard when we haven't got enough people watching, but if we get to 100 likes, I'll do a giveaway. I'll give away any size Apex account today. If we get there. Otherwise, I just hold it for Friday. Yeah, very choppy. Nothing really happening. Just wedged in. Trapped in between two high time frame points of interest right now. All right, trapped in between Friday, sort of breakout, previous day high, previous week high on Friday, and overnight where we got stuck, where we sold this morning, we back tested it and we've got stuck. So we're just trading back and forwards between those until one side wins. Yeah, BU, no worries. No problem. Yeah, I'm the same Poppy. I'm not a range trader. Some people love trading ranges. And, ranges work till they don't. They're one of those things. You could have traded this back and forwards all day, but at some point, someone on this range is going to lose. Someone bidding the lows or selling the highs. At some point today, they're going to get washed out of it. But one thing I would say, the ETFs cannot get above their VWAP so far this session. Back to that channel again. Yeah, market closed Friday. So what I would say, I would expect volume to taper off fairly early on Thursday because people will probably take long weekends. You'll probably see people leave the market earlier on Thursday, not be here on Friday, then you get Saturday and Sunday, and then we'll see if they're back in the market on Monday. If there's volume back in that market on Monday, we'll be able to tell. All right, ES back to its initial balance low. Are we going to get a continuation lower here, or is this going to produce another higher low on the NQ and continue to wedge in? Yes, just hanging out at its initial balance low. Let's have a look at liquidity on ES. There's a seller here, 234, 6234, 550 lot. So if they pop up and sell that, they'd probably come back down for 230s. Here he is, being bought into at the moment. Reloading there, still 400 on the tape, 300 on the tape. Reloading more, 250 left on the tape, 200, now he's gone. There's 100 above. Do they start to sell this now that they've taken him out, or are they going to go for a squeeze? Sorry about that dry cough, folks. It might be here for a while. Forgot all about COVID until I caught it again. The worst. So another higher low there. ES failing to break down underneath its initial balance. So those of you playing ranges, playing the IB rotation, especially on ES, there is a cheap long which keeps playing over and over. It doesn't mean I like it. Your momentum is downside right now, but from a technical point of view, there's a cheap long there for the rotation back towards VWAP. It's not something I trade. It is something I teach. I don't trade those that well. Prefer when there's a failed auction and it clearly starts to break momentum. So reattempt at the low here on ES. Which is why I play momentum over rotation. Do they put in another higher low here on NQ? You can just see 1, 2, 3, 4. That's by a tick higher. 5, 6. Another one here if they hold it. 7. Lower high, lower high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If they hold this 6, so you can see they're just trapping in. This is going to get very, very tight here. That's pretty awesome, Ken. That might, for me, that might mean they become the number one. They might become the number one platform prop firm. If they've changed that rule in the pro accounts to end of day drawdown, for me, they become the number one platform because it means you've got unlimited payouts. There's no consistency rule, and you can get paid out daily. So that means on TPT, once you pass TPT and you get it above your buffer, you can get payouts daily. Now, if you take a trade and it ends up going for you all day and you make 15, 20 grand above your buffer, it means you can take 15, 20 grand out that day, and you make another 5 grand the next day, you take another 5 grand out the next day. So if that is the case, they will quickly become the number one prop firm in the industry, I would say. You can trade up to 5 accounts with them, or at least you could. I assume it's still the same, 5 accounts. Very, very good. I do like Take Profit Trader for that reason. Paying yourself daily. Very, very good. But if they've got rid of that trading drawdown, it's amazing. I wouldn't have thought so. If they just launched the 40% one now, I don't think they'd do a 50% one, but I could be wrong, but I wouldn't have thought so. I think that's 10% extra than they were already offering with a good rule change. You never know, though. You never know. But I would tell you if I knew, I would say, yeah, just wait. But I didn't even know they'd moved to 40%. Okay, you're starting to see this very, very tight here. This is how tight we are now. You're getting right into the corner of this wedge here. Someone's going to get hurt. Don't let it be you. Yeah, Apex is 80% off. Traderify is 35% off until the end of the day. Take Profit Trader is now 40% off. $795. Where's that? Basically low of day. All right, there's a 40 lot down at $795. There's a 25 lot into 810. Actually, you might as well call it 50 because he's separated into 2 lots. And then there's a 29 lot up at 850. There's not much else. Let's have a look at the ES. Not really too much. Just pinned in sideways. What's the time? New hourly bar coming here, folks. So that last hourly bar was an inside bar. So just think, if we do break out outside of this to the downside and we stay heavy, then we've got all those buyers trapped in this inside bar on an hourly. Same goes for the upside technically, but if we break down to the downside, I think there's potential for a bigger move just because of the last hourly bar. All right, just because of this. All right, so here's your 9 o'clock candle. Here's 10 o'clock inside. If 11 o'clock starts to breach outside, then this becomes possible. Same can be said if we come up here. This can be possible. This is the same thing. I'm trying not to trade in here, trying to wait to see if we can get outside of these key levels. What a chop fest. It's like they buy 5, 10 points, sell 5, 10 points. Buy 5, 10, sell 5 to 10. It's crazy. Give me the volatility back, please. It's actually crazy that we're doing this when we're at 17s as well. 17s isn't that low. Like, I would expect us to be doing something like this down at like 13s and 12s, not at 17s on the VIX, but we're in different market conditions since Mr. Trump took over. Very, very different to what we had the previous 4 years. Like I said, I'll do a giveaway if we can get to 100 likes. It's going to be very hard when we're 50% down in terms of watchers than before I left for vacation. I reckon a lot of people probably thought that I quit. Apparently, you can't be a YouTuber and take a vacation anymore. All right, yes. Starting to break or attempting to break its initial balance. Still hasn't taken out its low of day yet. We're still in this wedge. We're very, very, very tight in this wedge. Remember, if the hourly bar starts to play and we get expansion, we can move lower. For every 30-minute bar since the open, since the 9:30 bar, 10 o'clock bar was inside 9:30. 10:30 bar was inside the 10 o'clock bar. And now we have the 11 o'clock 30-minute bar inside the previous 2 bars. So we're just building. We're trapping and trapping and trapping. Someone will get hurt. It's just how the market works. Look at the higher time frames. This is inside, inside, inside. Right? Think about the size of this candle. Then this one is inside that. Then this one is inside that. And we're currently inside of that. Once we get an expansion, we're going to get a breakaway or a fail break, either or. Starting to reclaim, failing to break lower here. Failing to break lower, especially on ES, failing to print outside its initial balance. NQ protecting those lows. We're still wedged in. Still wedged in. This can just change your wedge slightly, but this can still produce a lower high here and a higher low. I'm still just being very patient. I'm not in a rush to trade this right now. I'm going to let everyone else do things like guess where they're shorting the edge of the range and stuff like that. You can all feel free to guess. I will wait for volume and momentum to come in. Once I know one side's trapped, we all know Alex likes trading when one side of the market is trapped because it becomes much cleaner. The moves become much more obvious. They come with volume, and it's volume that's key for momentum. I'm just going to wait until we get those moves. That might be meaning wait until tomorrow, and that's also okay. We've only got like under an hour left of this session so far with nothing really happening. ES starting to retest previous day high. QQQ the same, trading through it already and approaching its VWAP. So if you're going to start to get these ETFs print above VWAPs, if some of this Mag 7 starts to go red to green, there is a bigger squeeze up towards possibly New York Open here. There is sellers up into 880, 875 right now. previous day high here on the spiders. This is what I'm watching to see if they sell VWAP on previous day high here on the spiders again, or if we start to find a higher low on like a 5-minute chart and start to find some bids to start curling and squeezing back above. If they start to do that, you'd expect the flow zones will start to curl with it. At the moment, everything is flattened out. Look, everything is starting to flatten out. Just move this like this now. Do we start protecting this VWAP here? 27s? Do we drive through 40s, 50s, up to 80s? So that would be the question I'm posing right now. This is coming just at the moment. There's nothing to do because this is coming to the top side of that 30-minute or 15-minute range. They can sell this again. But if they start to let it through, there's a bigger squeeze. It's the same story, both sides of this range. Once they start to let one side through, the other side's going to get trapped. It's just going to require patience. I know that I'm not clicking buttons here for you. If you want to watch someone clicking buttons, getting you into bad trades, go and watch Top Step TV or something. I will sit here all day and do absolutely nothing if that's what the market requires of me. Much rather take high probability setups when they're there than sit in something which is just going to chop. That last candle did protect the 25s we just talked about. So that last wick down protected 25s. ES still cannot get through previous day high. SPY cannot get through its VWAP. It wants to go. You can see that it's trying to build up to do that move, but so far it cannot do it. It's had numerous attempts today to try and do that. It cannot do it. I know, shade, but you know, a lot of people come to me having got trapped watching people over there. So I think the quality of guest, I think they're a good product. I think the quality of guest or trader or teacher is absolutely shocking. Again, look at the volumes. Trying to pick up here for the drive higher. It's trying to pick up for the drive higher. It's protecting. If we think about this, this was our lower time frame pivot. Oh, now is not the time to not let me do it. All right, if we can hold this, then maybe we come and clean these out. Again, this can still just be the edge of this range. It's still trapping in. The bigger problem here is the VWAP on the ETFs. If you're looking at SPY and QQQ, they cannot get through their VWAP, which means average person today in a sell is in the money. VIX is starting to break now, downside, back underneath previous day high. So it's squeezed over. This morning got all the way up to 1740s. Like we said, we were looking for a break over 1750 for a bigger move on the VIX. It's trading back downside underneath previous day high at 1728. This market feels like it wants to do a little bit of a squeeze, even if it's very short term, to come and clear out some liquidity right now. That's what it feels like to me anyway. There's your VWAP. ES trading into its VWAP. SPY trying desperately to get over its VWAP. Still cannot do it. Mag still in mixed bag. Most of the mag red, other than Meta and Microsoft. Morning, Paul. VIX starting to gap down here a bit. So more selling into the VIX. We might get an upside squeeze here soon in this market. Possible. Liquidity on the book up at 880. 22,880 if it wants to get up there, which is basically higher day. So it would need to get it. That would be in a full IB rotation. It would need to get through the VWAPs if it's going to do a full rotation like that. I'm not convinced of something like that yet, given that we've been in, what, a 30, 40 point range for most of this session down here. And look at ES and SPY again, cannot get a close over that VWAP. Then keep selling that VWAP for now. So back down to that key lower time frame level here. Do they absorb this now or not? Just got no conviction as we go choppy sideways in a wedge. Just want to wait for momentum and volume. Still waiting for momentum and volume to step in. Not absorbing this. Not a good sign for lower time frame buyers right now. Biggest selling coming here on the ES for sure. Back to the trend line. It's just chop, 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 chop. And this might look like bigger, but really, how big is it? 10 points? It's tiny. These are tiny moves. The range has gone from this market. All right, ES potentially can absorb 35s here and set a higher low and set the start of an inverted head and shoulders. Failing that, it will go back down to the initial balance low and then probably break lower. Someone's going to get hurt, like we said. VIX trading back upside over previous day high now. Just waiting for this market to make a decision. Happy to jump in if it becomes clear and obvious with momentum. Right now, it's going backwards and forwards, so I'm flipping between bias of long and short, but I'm not executing anything because there's no confirmation. You can see, look how many signals it's giving because nothing's happening. We can clean this up into a 2-minute. Nothing's happening here. We're not outside the initial balance. We're not even outside the opening range. Right, just let that sink into your head. We're not even outside the opening 15-minute candle. That's how little action we have here this morning. Are we even outside the open 5-minute candle? We're not even outside the opening 5-minute candle, folks. If you have a 5-minute orb, we're not even outside of that. Back to IB low on the ES. So SPY rejecting its VWAP, rejecting 5-minute flow zones back to initial balance low. So SPY right now just trading from VWAP to IB low to VWAP to IB low, backwards and forwards until they've got enough liquidity for a break. Yeah, VIX running but hasn't printed a new high. It's not breaking that 1750 yet. Not even at a high of day yet. But yeah, it's trying. Here's initial balance low again on the ES. I'd say if the next pop fails on the ES, you're going to get a break lower. Feels like it wants to break lower here on ES, back down towards low of day, but it's just a range low. If the next pop fails on the ES, you might get that break lower. So ugly. For no points as well, like ugly for nothing, for no range. So protecting Globex again there on the NQ. ES feels like that last pop-up is being sold into. It feels like they want to break lower. Just be very careful if you get divergence here. It'd be like the 4th or 5th time today we'd have divergence at a low. Protecting Globex, protecting the opening range low. Remember, this is your opening range low and Globex. It's not a trending market right now. Not in this session. This is an inside choppy market. It's a range rotation market until it proves otherwise. Still protecting IB low on ES for now. VIX trying to build for that breakout, not doing it yet. NQ, relative strength. So boring. So ES bouncing off its IBL again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like 10 visits down there on a 5-minute chart today, probably. Maybe not that many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8 or 9 visits. Globex again here. Breaking Globex now. Do they run for IBL now? Or do they protect the initial balance on the Qs here with divergence on ES? Remember, we're not in a trend day until we're beyond and beneath that initial balance. Still just in a sideways range. We've had no acceptance under this. Remember, we came up under here for 2 minutes and went straight back upside. It's the same thing here. No acceptance under here so far. No trend day confirmation. Rotation day confirmation only so far. Yes, got underneath IBL. Didn't print a new low of day, I don't think. No, it didn't. And it's trying to reclaim IBL again. So more range rotation being proven so far. So if you are trying to force your way into trade, you're probably getting chopped up this morning. So big buyer at 200, well, not big buyer, but 250 lot down at 230 on the ES. If you take him out, you might get a bigger break maybe. Crazy. Nothing happening. Nothing happening. Here's Globex. Protecting those 800s. Bouncing off Globex, protecting initial balance low. ES took IBL, rotating back up now straight away. So again, the range rotation is all that the only trades you can have today so far. Again, I don't trade range rotation. I do not like trading it. It's not where my strength is. So I tend to avoid these markets. But if you're someone bidding off IBL, bidding off, opening range for a trade back inside, back towards VWAP, then today should be paying you some money. Again, if we fail to break down below this, Fail to make new lows, shorts can get trapped, we can go back upside again. Failing to break above this, buyers get trapped, we go back downside again. It's just going to keep doing the same thing. Eventually someone's going to lose. What a bore. Testing trend line here that we broke down from. VWAP just above it. Flow zone is just above it. Just don't trust it, given what ES is doing for a breakdown lower, but we'll see. Shorts will need a break lower here for them to take any profit. If they can't take profit and they get trapped in this, we will squeeze higher. Shorts need a low of day break, basically, for them to be in the money comfortably. I'll have a look at the other markets for a second. RTY going sideways. YM going sideways, but starting to pivot. It's reclaimed its initial balance low. It's starting to put in higher lows. YM looks like the one that might want to go and revisit VWAP right now, to be honest, compared to everything else. RTY doing pretty much the opposite. Let's have a look at gold. Gold potentially can find a bid over its IB here. I wouldn't mind one trade before the end of day here, but I just can't see it happening. We have a break lower. No, there's no break lower right now. Just zoom out. Zoom out, look at an hourly. All we're doing is back testing previous day high kind of range. And building liquidity sideways now on an hourly. It's just whether we can break underneath that initial balance low, or if we're going to break back above the range that we've created this morning. So far, it's showing an unwillingness to break lower. Yeah. When you see action like this, you know people getting trapped for sure. It's how it builds liquidity. Just have to wait, folks. Like, you have to wait. There's no follow through in this session. It's definitely a see money, take money environment. All right, yes, bouncing off its IBL again. We're just trading at POC on the session as well. So there's just all the volumes built up here as well. You see this profile. All the volumes built up here. All right, so until we get outside of this, this is what we expect. It's just going to do this. Maybe it does this, or maybe it does a fail break. Maybe it does this, or maybe it does a fail break. this is where people get frustrated because they're trying to trade a D-shaped profile inside it. Very hard to trade that unless you're a range trader. Ay, ay, ay. Back to New York viewer. Last push on ES got sold into pretty hard in front of previous day high there. $30 for me. If there is nothing, there is nothing. Lost one trade today. Yeah, same for me. Couple break evens. Nothing sets up. Nothing sets up. Those in Discord will know we said the action's going to come Tuesday and Thursday. It's not going to come today. Holiday week, drifting at all-time highs, no news. End of month, end of quarter. So it was unlikely we were going to get too much today, and it's starting to prove true. I know, Raphael. I know. But that's all right. It's just summer months. It's fairly typical. Normally, when I look at P&L, I make most of my money last quarter, first quarter. Middle two quarters are normally very minimal. So not expecting anything too substantial now. And then from end of September, hopefully I can ramp up into the end of year. But we'll see. We'll trade what it gives us. $100 likes and we do a giveaway. Sunday Open was better than now. Yeah, well, just a drift higher on the Sunday Open. I mean, that's been a common thread from what I've seen. Again, I didn't trade really very actively the last few weeks, but last week it felt like the drift higher happened in Asia, and then we just went sideways in New York. What a load of garbage. All right, I'm going to use the bathroom here. I'll be back in a minute or two. All right. Another failed breakdown. ES now trying to break out to the upside again, coming into those same levels of VWAP. Do they get a squeeze back over these levels now? Do they start to break to the upside? That would be the question I'd be posing here. There is liquidity up at 22,850. So if they pull back here and dips start to hold on the NQ, then maybe there's a bigger squeeze out. SPY is through its VWAP now. Can it get a close on this candle? You've got 25 seconds left on this candle for it to get a close on a 5-minute. And I'll be looking to see if a pullback starts to be absorbed here. I don't really want to chase this. Obviously, I've missed this action. Oh, not much action, though. It's like 10 points, isn't it? But anyway, probably the best action we've had this morning here for the upside move. Trap down here, held. Here's your momentum and volume starting to step back in. So be looking for dips to hold here as long as they leave liquidity higher. I'd be very careful if we get divergence again on the day where ES clears out some levels and NQ doesn't, which is what's sort of starting to happen. We did just clear out that pivot, that 11.10 pivot on the ES, as in time-wise at 11.10. There is liquidity still at 242. Having a look at the book, yeah, liquidity on the book, 242, 243, 250 on the ES, 850 on the NQ if we're going to get going. So dip starting to be absorbed here for a potential squeeze higher, I would say. That's what they're looking to do. It's just whether they can absorb dips at this point now. And if they can, then they're going to get a rotation. They're going to look for sort of 50s. And if they can't absorb the dips, then in all likelihood, we're going to go right back down towards low of day, right? If this was just a squeeze out, then we're going to go right the way back down to low of day. So those are the opportunities in this market at the moment. How long have we got left? Not too long, 30 minutes. So still stuck under VWAP on NQ. Spiders are over VWAP. QQQ under its VWAP. The messy choppiness continues. Do they hold a print here? I'd say you'd need to see it hold sort of 25s or so for potential upside squeeze. If they fail to do that, then again, like I said, we rotate all the way back down because all that ES is doing is a rotation from initial balance to VWAP. If it wants to go from VWAP to initial balance, it can. VIX with a decent fail there, though, I would say, interestingly. So that last dip did get absorbed in front of 25s at 30s. Can this market get going now for this flag break? You'd want to see it just squeeze through VWAP and take out 50s at this point. Lack of momentum here. We'll need ES to get going to drag this market up with it. Wants to go. Just trying to do that inverted head and shoulder off a W. Here we go. Here's VWAP. Do we get some follow through here to 50s? That's the question. You're really playing with very little range right now, folks. If you're going to take this, you're looking at 10 points for your first TP. It is pretty tiny, but that's how it is. Yeah, so the liquidity is up here, so you'd be looking for 45s and 50s if they can break. And I'd be watching the mag to see if any of it's got any chance of going red to green, which right now does not look very probable. Tesla 0.85% down, Nvidia 0.22% down, Google 0.59% down, Amazon over 1% down, Apple over 0.5% down. Doesn't look good for a follow-through day. Have a look at the mag on charts. 1 second, folks. Yeah, Google trading near low of day. Tesla sideways. Nvidia reclaiming VWAP. Meta under VWAP's got a chance of going. Low of day Amazon. High of day Microsoft coming. Pre-market highs on Microsoft are coming. So it doesn't look too great on the mag right now. And just to the top side of the range, that's all we've got. ES about to take that liquidity. This is what I'd be very, very worried about. If ES takes out 43 and NQ doesn't, then you get divergence again, which means ES would have taken its low and high of this range and NQ would have taken neither. So just be aware of that. I want to see if SPY holds its VWAP on a dip here or not. Trading up towards 30-minute highs here. You want to be careful. You want to be careful. Range traders will try and sell this, even though really we should be breaking out higher at this point, watching the VIX especially. But you are, if you're going to buy this, you are buying range high. It's not a good buy. As technically, you want to be buying range low. New York Open is the VWAP. All right, so this is 24-hour VWAP. This is New York Open VWAP. Those are the two VWAPs. And we're just dancing between them right now. Yeah, very possible. This is what I'm saying, Ken. Especially, it might not even sweep it on the Qs if it doesn't want to, because if ES does the sweep and NQ doesn't, then you get divergence between the two. And we've seen that divergence play out all morning long. So if you look at the ES is broken underneath the initial balance 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times on 5-minute pushes. NQ never broke beneath the initial balance. We set the IB and we held it. So all these pushes on ES swept the lows. And ES is now approaching for a sweep of the highs. And the only high it has left now really is that 42, 43, 25 high. But if it absorbs previous day high, it might go up for it. NVIDIA attempting to go red to green here. What a terrible market. Terrible. Nothing happening. A value area low, 802. Might as well call it 800. Value area high. Really, there's a shelf at 840. And then above that, 856. There's just no range. To look for good RR, it's really hard with the lack of range. Here's your VWAP. Do they break now? There's the break of VWAP. Is there continuation to the 50s? And that's really all you've got. If you get through 50s, it might get going, but you're going to need the mag to join in. So think about this VWAP break. We've broken and we've put 4 points on NQ. That's it. It's not great. Be very careful of this liquidity into 50. It's on the book there as well, 50 and 52.50. You can see the buy signal coming. Here's your inverted head and shoulders. It wants to come and take this out. Once we get there, then New York and initial balance high is possible if the market wants to get going and if it's not just a sweep. Again, no volume, no follow through. basing at VWAP now. ES doing the same. There's a squeeze. So driving towards that 50. Remember, 50 liquidity here on the book. 50, 52. There's a squeeze. Oh. So there's the 50s. Remember, this is top of the range. Stops here at 54s. If we pop through that, you might get a turn back inside. And if they're going to get momentum follow through, then you're looking for a drive back up towards up here. Remember, we got stuck up here this morning. This is our second time revisiting where we broke down from. We broke down from this level. We tapped into that level, wick for wick. This is where the stops are. If we start reclaiming this, there's a chance for it to drive higher if the mag want to participate. They may well not want to participate. I'm not taking that level out yet on ES either. So just watching here. It's the edge of the range up here. Like I said, you're fighting over 5 and 10 ticks at the moment. There's not much here that interests me. And they can still, higher time frame might want to come in here and sell this, just looking at like a 15-minute and stuff. Very, very tough action this morning. This is where we got stuck, remember. They can still sell this back down. If they reclaim this, then we'll do this move here. So you can afford to wait for it. Oh. Back to VWAP as they sell the top of that range. They're having one more attempt here to get through it by the looks of it. Still building over VWAP, still not taking out the liquidity above. They're trying to lift it up there. It's just whether they've got any juice in this to get there. Almost there now. Remember 54s, is it? 54s. That candle to candle. So this low, this high, where we're coming back to. Remember this here is where we sold from pre-market. This is where sellers have been present this morning. Well, this here. That's your New York Open previous all-time high. So if they can pop through this, they might revisit that. If they sell that, we come back down. If they reclaim this, we'll probably go for an upside squeeze. But again, I'm watching the mag. Mag will need to participate if we're going to do any of these moves. Can you guys hear that? Like, I don't know, the guy above me doing like banging the railings. All right, lower time frame algo, back test now. Liquidity now been cleared, so now do we get going? So if pullbacks start to be absorbed here, you think there's a good shot that we go back towards New York Open and previous all-time highs. Again, but this is where we sold from this morning. So while I was in the bathroom, missed this. This was the long trigger down here, really. 27, so I didn't want to chase up here. Too risky for me. ES also cleared out its highs. So that high range been taken out now. VIX trading new lower day, trading back down towards 17s. All right. See if we get a break lower here, watching. Oh. Higher day here. I mean, high of this part of the session, this push. Again, this is where they sold into this morning. You don't want to be engaging new longs here. You'll need pullbacks to hold view up or an expansion to base up here. Extended from the flow zones at the moment. Shorts got caught at low of day. When we failed to make no new lows, they got caught. That's what's causing this move up. So if they hold dips into 40s, there's potential. It's just gone wick to wick there. I don't want to see it come much deeper. I want to see it test sort of, yeah, 45s and 40s for me to even consider. Otherwise, you're buying very high up in this. At the moment, it's holding this wick, this old wick. I want to see it come and test here. Maybe it considers that enough. How long we got left? Oh, not very long either. Don't like that. And we're into an H1 imbalance here. Holding 50s. I want to see it come deeper to hold. Slow market. What a slow market. Microsoft green, Meta green, Nvidia green now. Rest of the market's too far behind to go green anytime soon, I think. Here's your break of the high again. Yeah, I wanted that dip down towards 40s, 45s, 40s. Didn't come. Only got to 50, held the whole number, 850. Again, the dip provided on ES was much better there from a technical point of view. It's trading quite well, ES actually, at the moment. Okay, ES coming back towards its view up. Let's see if they hold bids here or not, or if they flush straight through after clearing out the highs. Remember, there is a chance that this is a clear out the highs just to roll all the way back down. We've talked about it. We are in nothing more than a range. We're in a rotational day, initial balance day. It's not a trend day. Pro trend is up. We have just traded into an H1 imbalance. If they want to sell this all the way back down after clearing out the stops, they can do so. That's what makes this very hard right now, as we're trading in between two higher time frame points of interest. God, sorry, folks. Yes, back to view up again. Like I said, this is the sort of area, NQ into view up is a sort of area where they will need to hold if they're going to have any continuation of upside. Because it's where we broke out from, if we think about this. This sort of area here. Here, they will need to hold this for this move here. Failing to do this opens up this door. Especially into lunch. You've got to be very careful. 4 minutes left, 3.5 minutes left or something. Yes, failing view up here. NQ coming into it. QQQ not there quite yet. SPY through it like a knife through butter. Does it protect previous day high and reclaim? I don't know. ES looks better for the upside at the moment. It's come back down to previous day high. It's holding the downtrend it broke out from. If it can find a bid here, it's interesting, but it's just not a high probability day right now. As tempting as it is into lunch. But this is the sort of area where NQ would need to hold, as will ES. If it fails to hold this, then there is a good chance of rotation all the way back down to the lows after clearing out the highs. ES tapping that downtrend it broke out from right here, right now. It looks like it's just hunting liquidity both sides right now. What I would say on the ES is all those lows at the initial balance low look very, very dangerous. This is what's worrying. This point of interest I keep talking about, where we failed from earlier, this imbalance here, where we've just traded into. If we cannot sustain over this, this becomes equally possible. So fail break, back down to the lows. And we've got no acceptance over value area high. Right, so we're just trading in value. This can continue. This is what I'm saying. If I'm going to be long, having missed the trigger down here, I'd rather wait for this at this point over value area high to base. Otherwise, there's just as much chance as they sell this back down. So basically, what I'm saying is we're in a 50-50 market here. I think the easier trades come Tuesday and Thursday. I've said it since the beginning of today. 30 seconds left, folks. What a boring session to come back to work with you. I'm sorry. All right, there we go. Into lunch. New hourly candle. Absolutely nothing. Nothing really happened this whole session. You've still got a mixed bag on the Mag 7, so let me give you a readout before I go. Tesla, 0.90% down. Nvidia, 0.16% up. Meta, 0.65% up. Google, 0.72% down. Amazon, 1.25% down. Microsoft, 0.5% up. Apple, 0.5% down. Market is not in agreement right now, folks. All right. For the Nasdaq, 60% of the NQ is run by that Mag 7. They don't know what they want to do, so the Nasdaq doesn't know exactly what it wants to do. VIX is basing out between 1740 and 17s. All right. So it's still holding its trend right now. That's it. We are inside the initial balance. We are inside the opening range. At no point today do we get acceptance outside of opening range. All right. We've not had acceptance out. Why can't I draw it here? Let me draw it. There we go. No acceptance outside of opening range in Globex. Here's your opening range high, previous high, and New York session high. If we can get acceptance up here, we might drift higher. Pretty risky until that point, I'd say. See money, take money, move in, move out, enjoy your day. Come back for easier markets. You do not need to trade every day. All right, you are fighting over scraps here. Unless you took this while I was away from the chart. Right, unless you were involved here when I moved away from the chart for this move, then I really don't think there's been much else for you to play. This was a potential buy off this signal for this move here to clear out this liquidity. Other than that, there's not much else to do right now. So just be smart for the rest of the day. Make sure you're here for tomorrow. Do not go forcing your way into this market. Remember, I'm going to keep repeating, it is end of month, end of quarter. So 3-month candle and a month candle, which are higher time frame candles, end today. All right, just think about that. They end today. So easier moves from tomorrow. All right, I'll see you tomorrow morning. We're going to do the same thing over and over again. We will find better trades tomorrow. I'm pretty confident. What are the other things to consider? You have until the end of today to get the 35% off Tradeify. Use code FCT if you want to do that. Apex 80% sale continues. 40% off Take Profit Trader right now. You can use code FLOWZONE, all one word. Links are all in the description. So anything that you do where you use my code and it helps, all that happens is I put that money back into the stream, whether that's buying new equipment, buying new mics, buying new cameras, all those things. So definitely appreciate the help. And I'll see you tomorrow morning. Peace out, everyone in Discord. I'll see you then. Be kind to each other. Take care.